Islam. How's everybody? You know we're here once again for Canaanland Moors class. It is the 16th of September, and today's class is dedicated to the Prophet because there's a lot of people who doubt the Prophet. A lot of these Moors out here, you know what I mean? They don't really back the Prophet, right? They don't really back the Prophet because if a Moorish American, El Bey, Day, Al, Ali, 5 on the left, 2 on the right, and all that, is going to tell people that you're not a Moor unless you're part of a temple. If a Moor comes to you on that angle, if a Moor comes to you on that approach, that you're not a Moor because you don't belong to a temple, that Moor and anybody who's down with is against the Prophet. Why? Because in Noble Drew Ali's own literature, right? He says in the 101 questionnaire that the reason we are Moorish American is because we are descendants of Moroccans born in America. That's what Noble Drew Ali says. So any more that says you're not a Moor because you're not a member, that Moor ain't down with Noble Drew Ali. And get the hell as far away from that Moor as possible. For real. There's not no game out here. Noble Drew Ali came since 1913 with this information. 1913, 2014 right now. Almost 2015. 2 years into a century since this man came. And just found out about this 7 years ago. I just found out about this when I've been known about everybody else, and I didn't know about this. Anybody who never told you about Noble Drew Ali, give them the anybody, because it's like the disrespect of people who claim to be for the liberation of their people, right? The level of disrespect that is being received, right, by the population that don't know who they are. And then the people who claim to be for their liberation know who they are and they're not telling them. Give them the, because let me tell you something. A prophet came to you. Oh yeah, European, you too. You too, European, because when I trace all you guys, big up to the Europeans out there, Irish, Scottish, French, whoever, right? The dark hair, dark eye, right? No melanin in their skin, but some type of tie to ancestry of dark-skinned people. Big up to all you people. Keep pushing the fact that you know that you're Moors. You know that, Your position is pretty much helper, and you'll do whatever you got to do to make sure that the Moors get back in control of stuff, because you see what's going on with U.S. democracy running stuff. They putting you guys in FEMA camps too. So don't get it twisted, but yeah, white privilege and all that. They no privilege. All these Europeans denouncing their U.S. citizenship because democracy got nothing for y'all. You're the new nigger, European. Don't get it twisted. You see what they're doing to so-called black people in the street. You see what they're doing. You know what they're doing too, right? And you know why they're doing it. And you know why you're not getting it, right? So make sure, you Europeans, that you push that the Moors are back. You push that the Moors put you onto something. Matter of fact, you go out there, do like, European Muslim son, right? Latif Bey goes and videotapes all their Shriner stuff and telling the Moors that this is their stuff, come get it. European! But Moors are gonna have problems with Cujo because I said shit. And this European is kicking these Moors' asses. Posting all types of stuff. Stuff the Moors never heard about. This European's posting, and guess what? Only one like on it. Cujo. Because everybody is scramble brain. Because everybody ran away from the prophet, following these dirty bastards out here saying that they're down with Noble People getting 20 years in prison and all this type of stuff and blaming Taj when they didn't study the prophet. You're going to go out there and say that you're more? And you didn't even consider Noble Drew Ali? You didn't even consider it. You just said, forget Noble Drew Ali, sovereignty up, right to travel. Get your ass kicked by a European and then blame somebody who talks about more. This is where we're at right now. Who don't hear will feel. That's the Bakari Babame knows about those ones. Who don't hear must feel. Who don't hear must feel. Because guess what? Allah sent the prophet. There's not just some man walking around or whatever. So-called, whatever you consider God, higher force, supreme being, sent Noble Drew Ali to you. And you're not going to consider that. You consider all the metaphysics. You consider Phil Valentine stuff. You consider Kabahaya Watha Kamin stuff. You consider hidden colors. You listen to what Kudro said. You listen to what Taj said. You go on RV Bay. You go read all that stuff. You go over and you never once thought to give honors to the person who brought all this stuff back. But remember, he wasn't the first or nothing like that. So don't even let Moors take you there about Noble Drew Ali is the first. That's why we honor him. Forget all that crap. Right? There's been Moors before Noble Drew Ali. Right? But there hasn't been a Moor to come tell you that you're Moors except Noble Drew Ali. No more ever came and told you, hey, Negro black colored guy, you're not Negro black colored. You're actually a Moor. Only one individual did that. Everybody else does the third party stuff. The Moors. And the Moors. And TMZ. The Moors and whatever. Third party Moors. Moors are back. Moors are here. Moors been here. It's not a secret. Get down with it or get lost. Because, they thought lost in the wilderness of North America or whatever, that's agent talk. But this is not no wilderness. We got pyramids here. We got roads, paved streets, all that here. So this is not no wilderness of no North America. Forget all these sellout dirty Moors that this year prophet. And don't back him. Never back him. Rob the treasury, start up their own organization, start up their own temple, start up their all whatever, and don't even have a picture of the man on the wall. And then put out a little picture in 2013, and make it seem like, yeah, we're down with this. All of a sudden, we're down with this? How come certain people don't tell people that they got nationality cards from Moorish Science Temple? I won't say which one. But if you piece it together, you'll know which one. And go ask them, hey, I heard certain people nationalize that you guys' temple. And see if they spill the beans. Bet you they don't spill the beans. You know what I mean? Go to all of them. Because guarantee, when you go ask them about nationality and birthrights, they're going to make you think that that has nothing to do with nothing, forget that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So today we're going to give honors to the prophet. Because, realize that there's a lot of Moors that don't back him. Shit talking. They claim they back the prophet, but they don't back the prophet, right? So let's just see what some things that the prophet laid down for the Moors since 1913 to get their stuff together. But they didn't want to do that. They want to claim to be reincarnated Moors, and then they want to claim to be, the supreme advisor Moors, and then they want to claim to be INC Moors, and then if you're not down with them, you don't know what you're talking about because nobody. Don't let none of these clowns fool you. Prophet came for you. Prophet came for the nations as a whole. So there's no monopoly that the Moors have on Noble Drew Ali. He's everybody's prophet. Now they can choose to get down with him if they want to. If they see what's going on around them, they better get down with what Noble Drew Ali said. Or you're just gonna go down with whatever's going on around you. Simple. Ask the people who went out and tried stuff. Not study and know and be what you know. No, they watch YouTube, hear something, go try stuff, get their ass kicked, and then blame somebody they heard on YouTube. Right? Noble Drew Ali, 1928. 2 days ago. 2 days ago in 1928. Noble Drew Ali, September 14th. It is not unusual for a newspaper to make its debut in the city of Chicago. The past years have seen many such come and many such go. The Moorish guide taking its initial bow to the public knows not what the future awaits it, but throwing its effort on the sides of right, reason, and tolerance, we hope that we might make the grade. The Moorish guide enters the field of journalism with malice toward none and charity to all. Charity to all. It is not our purpose to disregard the work of other splendid journals. It is not our purpose to fail to give due attention and space to all American citizens, individuals, and organizations alike who are working in their chosen field of endeavor for the progress and development of all American citizens and all American institutions. We hope to cooperate with them in the intensive and grueling battle for universal justice. The Moorish Guide feels that the greatest weapon in our hands of our group today in America is our press. The truth will never be told about a disadvantaged minority by the general press of any country, whether that minority be racial, political, or religious, unless we express ourselves through papers of our own. The truth about us will not be told. Many of our accomplishments, many of the beautiful things, many of the hopeful things, and events which mark the progress of our group will go unrecorded were it not for papers, plural, of our own. Our papers are our only hope of shoveling ourselves out from under the avalanche of lies that is annually let loose upon us. A strong, free press is the best possible safeguard for the liberties in general promotion and defense of the interests of a strong free people. So all these Moors that say that they back the Prophet and say, Kudro violated Act 8 and Kudro violated Noble Drew Ali's stuff and all that, right? Ask those Moors where there's paper. Before they start saying I violated something, Noble Drew Ali said, this is Noble Drew Ali's words. The Moorish guide feels that the greatest weapon in the hands of our group today in America is our press. So forget bare arms, forget whatever all crap you guys want to talk about is our greatest weapon. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, if you honor him and respect him, he told the Moors that our greatest weapon is our press. Why? Because press is the public record. And press is the only way that you're going to shovel yourself out of the avalanche of lies being annually let loose upon us, because if you want to go file your judicial proclamation, name declaration or whatever in those guys' newspaper, it's going to cost you $500 per letter. Go call them. They'll tell you. $50 a letter. Because your document is 2 pages. But they'll give Walmart and whoever, $50, they could have 5-page ad. But how come you can't do whatever? Because you're supposed to have your own stuff. But oh yeah, Noble Drew Ali told you about that since 1928. But dumb niggers with fezzes on and other niggers without fezzes on, telling you that you're Negro black colored, make you abandon your stuff that you've been had to do your own stuff. So you could get down with the European stuff. Ask those Moors where's their paper. Any Moors talking about their Moor Science Temple, any Moors talking about their for Noble Drew Ali, any Moors talking about when they see Islam and all that stuff, ask them, do you guys have a newspaper? Because I was reading Noble Drew Ali's Moorish Guide post, Moorish Guide newspaper, published Friday, September 14th, 1928, and he said that the greatest weapon that the Moors have is their press. So do you guys have a paper? And if they can't say, oh yeah, here's a paper, those Moors don't back the Prophet. Remember, the paper doesn't have to say Moorish Guide on it, because he said papers. So that means everybody who says that there are more, you should have some type of publication out there. Forget a little booklet and all that crap. Booklet ain't nothing. Go make some press. Once again, ask them. We have at least 3 issues that we can put down to say, okay, well, we at least had 3 issues out here in Canaanland, coming from our Moorish Science Temple out here. And we challenge everybody who says that they're Moorish Science Temple to produce your paper, because we need a bundle. We need a bundle of 100 papers. We already got papers from Grand Chief Nature. We already got the Masonic Gate paper. We already paid our 60, you know what I mean? So we already have our bundle. Matter of fact, we're a distributor of the Moorish Gate. We already have our PDF. We're about to go to the print shop and go print up our paper, because Noble Drew Ali said we're supposed to have a paper. So now we have the Moorish Guide newspaper, right? This is another one that we had, okay? We have the Moorish Guide newspaper, and then we also have the Masonic Gate newspaper. Ask those more where there's papers at. Start talking crap about Kudro and go do something. Get the fuck off Facebook. Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple. And this is from the Almighty Black Peace Stone Nation. By Natalie Y. Moore, right? And Lance Williams. And make sure all you Europeans go check that last name Moore and go check that last name Williams, the family crest of Europe. And I guarantee you, you're going to see a Moor head on the crest, or you're going to see a shield, or you're going to see a helmet, knight's helmet, or you're going to see crescent, moon, or you're going to see 5-point star, or something like that relative to the Moors. Just so you know that, you're part of this, and you have obligation too, to make sure that people honor and respect what the Moors done, been doing, and gonna do. Because ain't nothing happening unless it's under the rule of the Moors, in anybody's favor. That's just what it is. Why? Because prophet said that. That's prophecy that he laid down since 1913. Prophecy that manifested. Page 133, right? Page 133. So they're starting the section on Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple, right? On page 133, which is 7. You think people are stupid? People aren't stupid, huh? Gaming everybody. Because people don't think. How come? Oh, because they don't listen to Noble Drew Ali. Because Noble Drew Ali said, think and save yourself. We don't want to think, though. But then you're not with the prophet. You get lost. If you want to think, if you want to use the faculties that you were created with, then let's go. Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Temple of Science. So correction. Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Temple of Science. As it is for many black men imprisoned in the United States, Fort's exposure to religion broadened while he served his federal sentence. In late 1974, Harrison and Fort were locked up together in a prison in Joliet, Illinois. Oh yeah, and Islam to big brother LeBron Neil Bay, who's right now doing, lockdown. But he's one of the instrumental Moors that kept us on the watch out for dirty Moors. So understand that more. They received visits from Christina Price Bay, the National Secretary of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Moorish Science Temple teachings were thick in prison, especially from the 1930s, right? Noble Drew Ali died in 1929, to the 1950s. Their draw is similar to the influence the Nation of Islam has over groups of black men in the penitentiary today. Oh, wait a second, now let's check. So this is copywritten 2011. So in 2011, the authors of this book realized that the influence that the Nation of Islam has over groups of black men in the penitentiary today is relative to the influence that the Moorish Science Temple teachings had in the prison from the 1930s to the 1950s. Once again, proving who certain people's foundation is that they don't want to honor. Why? Let's because people are gonna, well, we were doing the stuff, and don't even lie, y'all weren't doing nothing in the prison in 1913, in 1930. Why? Because in 1930, the Nation of Islam was the Temple of Islam. And the Temple of Islam just started, and they were in no goddamn prisons in 1930. But all those Moors who got charges trumped up on them, now think about this. Moorish Science Temple teachings were thick in the prison in the 1930s to the 1950s. Noble Drew Ali died in 1929. How did this information about the Moorish Science Temple and Noble Drew Ali get into the prison that thick by 1930? Because of all these dirty bastards that sold out the prophet, robbed the treasury, shut down all the manufacturing companies that he set up for you. And now they're going around parading around the world. Oh yeah, unity, doesn't matter what you call yourself. We should just have unity amongst all the people, the dark-skinned, melanated. All that's misnomers. We're Moors. They never say that you're Moors. And if they do the third party, you're Moors. Playing people. Since 1929, when Noble Drew Ali died, these guys have been playing people about with their birthright. Since 1929. National MSTA leaders employed a target prison recruitment campaign to bolster their membership. Why? Why are they starting this campaign in 1930 to go into the prisons to have some type of effect with membership? Because of all the people that left, because of the confusion that these 30 Moors started. We put the Supreme Grand Sheik on YouTube telling you three groups of Moors that came to see Noble Drew Ali's casket. Three groups of Moors. There was the Moors, follow the Prophet, period. There was the Moors who were siding with, a favorite of the temples during that time. And he put himself out there as, if you guys need to do anything or whatever, change stuff, just give me a shout. You know what I'm saying? I'll be in Mecca. And then the Moors that say that, Noble Drew Ali jumped into an adult's body, and now that guy's the prophet, so let's follow him. Those were the only three groups of Moors that were around that time that came to see Noble Drew Ali's casket. This coming from somebody whose parents, whatever, were there at the thing. Okay? Now, when we recognize the magnitude of the sellout, we recognize the magnitude of the sellout, we would start to honor Noble Drew Ali. That's why I push Dirty Moore so much. Not to give them no props. People could see what these guys did to you, that you have nothing now. Complaining about getting choked out on the corner. Don't complain. You had a prophet since 1913, you abandoned. So you get choked out on the corner. You get shot up. You get punched in elevators and stuff like that. Like, what are you complaining about? So now it's time to get right. Don't worry about what. Better get right. Allah sent the prophet. That's not just some man that had a eureka moment and said he's going to come teach people. The higher force sent that individual to you. Just like the higher force sent Bob Marley to you. Just like the higher force sent whoever you consider, sent dead prez to you. Just like the higher force sent whatever you see as inspiration for you to be inspired. It's the same thing with Noble Drew Ali. The only difference is that he was teaching nationality. He's not singing some songs or, whatever. Right? Telling you to buy a book. Telling you about some pyramids or whatever like that. He's telling you about your nationality, your birthrights that you don't have. You better pick it up. And then he leaves the scene, and then there's all this confusion. Why? Because Noble Drew Ali didn't come for them back then. He came for us today. Because he told them back there that it's going to take y'all 50 years to figure out what I brought you. And 50 years have passed, and you guys don't even know that, which is where the majority of us were. We're at the cusp. Remember, 100 years, right? So 50 years, 50 years. 50 years would have gone, and then it would have took you guys 50 years to figure out that he even came. So 100 years, right? Majority of us who are on this right now, we had a spark of Noble Drew Ali before 1913. 100 years. At the 100-year mark, all of a sudden, all these people start waking up to more science and Noble Drew Ali and that they're Moors and they want to go fight tickets and they don't want to pay taxes and whatever. All of a sudden, not 10 years ago, not 20 years ago, not 5 years ago, 1913, at 100 years, you have people in Germany talking about, they got more stuff out here. You got people in the Netherlands, UK, talking about their Moors. 100 years from when Noble Drew Ali prophesied that in 100 years, fourth and fifth generation is going to get this. I'm going to go to the soul plane because forget you dirty Moors. All of y'all. Why? Because Noble Drew Ali prophesied, what's all you Moors doing here? There's only going to be a handful saved. And I'm going to have fingers left over. you know, so we got who we got saved? We got immediately ill was saved, right? Because when we say, you know, only a handful saved, the perspective is the adepts. Because the job of the adepts is to go get the nation. That's not Noble Drew Ali's job. Noble Drew Ali trained Moors around him to go do what they're supposed to do, disciples, right? And many didn't do what they're supposed to do. And the ones that did what they're supposed to do, you have Ili Ill, right? Who everybody bashes, says, oh yeah, forget that guy, he's whatever, right? CM Bey, who everybody bashes, says, oh yeah, forget that guy or whatever, right? And a few other more. Maybe one more. Because he said that there'll be fingers left over. The amount saved is going to be one hand with fingers left over. Right? And then we don't count the thumb. Right? He came for us. So we better do something with this. Forget all these Moors confusing you about stuff. Right? Nobody is your prophet. Yes, he did say, you know, join the Moorish Science Temple if you have race pride and things of that nature. But where we're at right now, you better just say that you're Moorish. Do the temple thing, you know, later. Because, you know, you're going to walk into a temple and you're going to see them singing hymns and you're throwing your birthright down because you think that, you know, your birthright is connected to this organization that's singing hymns. There's no connection. Don't throw away your birthright because you go to a temple and there's messed up Moors in there. Hold on to your birthright and just leave that place and go find some other Moors. Don't throw away your birthright because you see dirty Moors doing dirty stuff with your birthright. You know, just like don't say that U.S. is government when they say that they're democracy. What are you talking about? Why are you following them? Why are you listening to them? The prophet came and told you, gave you instructions. Right? So national MSTA leaders employed a target prison recruitment campaign to bolster their membership, and Hairston and Fort were no doubt a part of those efforts. During those prison visits, Price Bey extolled the teachings of MSTA founder Noble Drew Ali. She even continued to visit Fort when officials transferred him to federal prison in Kansas to serve his sentence for defrauding the U.S. government. Same thing we were just talking about. U.S. is a private corporation. So he defrauded a private corporation. And then the defraud is a claim that he defrauded them. Because, you know, if they're running fraud, you guys say somebody's running fraud on you if you're running fraud. You know, because the first thing you're going to call it is you're a fraud. If I'm running fraud, then okay, what about your fraud? And then that's what happens, crickets. Right? Price Bey taught Jeff and other Stones that black people in America are Asiatics and Moors. MSTA teachings claim that that the ancestors of black people were the Canaanites, who descended from Noah's son Ham. They are also descendants of the biblical Moabites. Their more recent ancestors inhabited West Africa, where they established the Moorish Empire that ruled most of Europe and Asia. According to Ali, the blacks of America are therefore actually Moors, and their natural religion is Islam, not Christianity. Just thought about it. Pretty good. Ali taught that although Jesus was also a Canaanite, he was merely a prophet. Yeah, just saying, I just thought about you in the door. Yeah. Ali also preached to his followers that only by means of a deliberate distortion of the racial background of Jesus was it possible for white Europeans to claim him as one of their own and establish him as the head of their church. These ideals must have percolated in Fort's head as he served out his sentence. And then if you talk to Moors who got more science in prison, that's exactly what the hell goes on. Because all of a sudden you have all of this time with this thing that you never heard about before. That you mean I could just, call these people and they're just gonna send me some books or whatever like that about this stuff? Hold on a second, and then they go down to the library and they go ask the chaplain and they go ask the warden and there's no books about Moorish anything in there. So they go outside and then get it. Sometimes it gets through, sometimes it gets stopped, and they say, nah, send stuff back. We got stuff back from prisons. But certain prisons, ain't down with it. You know what the hell's gonna happen up in there, right? So that's the almighty Black Peace Stone Nation. Don't get it twisted with these people telling you about, vice lords and El Ruckins and Black Peace Stones are gangbangers. They study more science harder than anybody else. And if we can get them to realize, what's up, then it's really up. Then we have our army that everybody's bitching about, when they're challenging more. You guys so tough, where's your army? Don't worry. When we wake up all these gangbangers out here, let's see who the army is. Then let's see what you guys are going to do. You have to pick a side because remember, they already know more science. We don't have to school them about, we just have to let them recognize, it's your birthright, not the gang. There's a bigger gang that you're actually, part of. The gang is not the street corner or the block or the hood or these 18 guys that are captain and vice captain and whatever, general and whatever, because, he made his way to the ranks because he killed 50 guys. Yeah, that was unfortunate, but really that's not what is going on. That's more science. And as soon as they realize, as soon as it clicks in their brain that, hold on a second, there's going to be a whole different thing out here. Right? Just like when, Chief Malik was around and Moors were in the so-called, gang or whatever, but, they got a temple. What is gang doing with a temple? And they have meetings. Go check the records. Don't forget there's FBI files on them too. Why they got meetings? Why they got meetings? How come gangbangers have a Moorish science temple and they're wearing fezzes, they got flag out front and all that, right? Everybody's dressed, you know what I'm saying? Like muftis, because remember, go check the record, they all the army stuff. Right? The noble prophet did wonders to the mind of the black man. He gave the black man so much inspiration that the black man took the inspiration and started telling his people that, they're still black men. That's how inspired they were by Noble Drew Ali. They're so inspired by Noble Drew Ali, right, that they said, you know what? Noble Drew Ali is dead right now. So we can, he's not here. You know what I mean? He's not here. He's not making his rounds. You know what I mean? Going and checking all the temples no more. He's dead. How about we just take this Moorish science temple and convert it into and you just name the organization that's out there today saying that they're for the liberation of our people, and guaranteed, trace back their history, their great-great-grandma, somebody was in the temple. Their great-aunt, their cousins, uncles, stepdad, somebody in their lineage, guaranteed, was a member of the Moorish Science Temple. A member. One of these people play around with your birthright. And again, talking to the Europeans too, because we gave y'all clip sovereignty. We gave y'all 33 degrees. Some of y'all we gave, 90 degrees because you were on some different levels as some Europeans. You don't know the cave guy. You know what I mean? Same ones that are around today. You find me a Moor that talks like Rick Smith. Find me 5 Moors, because I know you could probably pick one. Find me 5 Moors that talk like Rick Smith. Right? Hey, European. Tell me about your galactic Moorish history that you don't even know about, never heard about. And then people are, no, I ain't listen to him, he's a European. Well, the devil and all that stuff. He's, no way. I'm not listening to him. Noble Joe Ali said, give Christianity back to the European. What? This guy's talking about galactic Moorish history that you don't have, and you're not going to consider this individual? You guys are freaking clouded. You don't rep the prophet. Do not rep the prophet. We're going to go to another one. You know, we're just going to beat them up just so that people could go out, do your own research on Noble Joe Ali. You know, find all these people. Oh yeah, look up Suzanne Nance. You know, European. Suzanne Nance, Nance, European. Papers on papers, papers and papers. European, right? Talking about Noble Joe Ali, that she's putting in as her thesis for her university, whatever. That the National Archives of Canada is saying, we want your paper on Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple to put in the Canadian archives, the National Archives of Canada. And people are talking about Cujo's a dirty Moor, he's an agent. When the National Archives of Canada knows that there's Moors out here? Because why? We'll check the record. It wasn't until the Moors in Canaanland were on City TV, CTV, Global, helping this crazy lady get her children back, that she got back, that fezzes start popping up in the news, newspapers talking about the Moorish history of stuff all of a sudden. Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, misunderstanding of purpose. Jealousy and subversion. Noble Drew Ali, through this well thought out Moorish movement, had already achieved great economic and political success for the people and on behalf of the people. That's a trustee. That's a trustee. That's a power of attorney. That's a consul. They're not doing something just for this guy. They're doing it for the whole to benefit. Now that's another way that you know dirty Moors. When you send an email or you make a phone call and you don't get no call back. Dirty Moors. Not personal, but answer your phone. Return an email. And then don't get it twisted because, you know, there's Moors that, work 24 hours a day, no sleep. Same thing as trustees for the Moorish nation, just doing over and beyond what they should be doing in order to keep the Prophet's name in the minds of the people. So don't get it twisted that all Moors that don't return calls are dirty. Like, perfect example. We'll put this on the record. Talking to Brother Taj. Taj, let me get your email so instead of calling you all the time. I don't do it anymore. How come? Last time I had an email account, and one day I had 2,000 messages. In one day, 2,000 messages. Who's dealing with that? So that's why when people, want to talk crap, I tried to call Taj because I followed the paperwork on the website and he never answered. Yeah, because he probably got message probably backed up, voicemail backed up, email full, second phone email thing backed up, you know. The guy who takes the messages doesn't have no more paper to write down no more messages or whatever. The Facebook page that somebody's running, they're sitting there like, holy smokes, I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
And we leave it all alone, right? Because Moore's been working hard to make sure you people know about your birthrights and your nationality behind closed doors. Hard. He had also demonstrated and set patterns for communications with other American national states in the Western Hemisphere who displayed serious interest in helping to improve the political and economic condition of the Moors in the North Continent. We're going to go over that again, but over people. Because remember, they say Noble Drew Ali doesn't deal with civics. He brought religion to the Moors. So, come to the temple, kumbaya to Noble Drew Ali, right? And have everybody running away from Moorish sides because they think this is just Moorish church now instead of Christianity. No, those people are playing you. They're not with Noble Drew Ali at all. They're about making you run away. But just don't throw away your don't throw away your birthright. We beg you, please don't throw away your birthright because you see dirty Moors picking up shit with their birthright. Don't. That's their birthright that they're doing madness with, not yours. That's their birthright, right? Again, Noble Drew Ali, he also demonstrated and set patterns for communications with other American nation states. In the Western Hemisphere, who displayed serious interest in helping to improve the political and economic conditions of the Moors in the North Continent. So he was a diplomat for the Moors. He was the Grand Vizier. Went and made all the connections for the Moors. Set up everything. Manufacturing companies, all that. And oh yeah, make sure you do honors and research into Moorish Manufacturing Company. Matter of fact, just go to Khalifa Media. Go get this book right here. So you can see Noble Drew Ali, or hear Noble Drew Ali rather, or read what Noble Drew Ali had out there with regard to the manufacturing companies that were set up for the Moors. That there's none right now. How come there's no manufacturing companies right now? Not zero. There's not one Moorish manufacturing company right now. There's people that had companies that have been around for 100 years or whatever. All right. So it's not something that's far out there. That you have a company that runs for 100 years. It's really not far out there. It's not impossible. Okay, so there's documented facts. Don't forget, in the newspaper, the Moors paper, not the European paper, in the Moors paper, there's documented facts that there's manufacturing companies. But then there's none now. Zero. You know, one that we can say, oh yeah, that one's been around since 1913, just to show people. How? What? How is there none? Oh, you know how? Dirty Moors. Remember those guys? You guys following and stuff like that, liking their stuff because they said something cool, but they don't have paper. They don't have no company that they got. Like we at least have a DVD store, a bookstore, sell herbal products, sell meats, tonic, t-shirts, whatever. Know what I mean? Like, okay. But that's not manufacturing. You know, we're not making stuff really. You know what I'm saying? You know, having a little T-shirt thing and doing the fresh T-shirt. You know, that's basic. Talking about manufacturing. We're talking about what freaking Nestle got. That's manufacturing, right? So, that you can get this at Khalifa Media. So send them an email. Don't be shy. They reply. So this man set up all these manufacturing companies. So remember, not no Matchbox crap either. He had some real manufacturing companies, right? Now, in the manufacturing companies, right? This is for all the dirty Moors who like to talk about, Noble Drew Ali who got sick and then he died. Why? Because they don't want to be honest with people and tell them Moors killed their prophet. Because that's going to make people, not be part of it. Because if Moors killed the prophet, then why am I going to get down with that? No, not really. Moors killed the prophet because they weren't with him. They weren't down with him. Don't worry about what they did. You take this and do something with it. Why is there no manufacturing companies right now after the prophet's dead? Why? Unless dirty Moors did something. That are still around today, like we tell y'all, and everybody's on Facebook liking their stuff. Like their picture, share their picture. And they're dirty. It's in the records that who they're down with, the temple that they're lined up with, is the dirty Moors that killed the prophet. And you're telling me about don't tell these people F you and stuff like that? And this is my brother, unity amongst the Moors. Yeah, unity with no dirty Moors who killed the prophet. Are you crazy? And then people back the people who are down with that. And then tell stories about he died of tuberculosis or whatever because they have the death certificate with the sellout goddamn lawyer who signed it too. Right? How come they don't talk about this is why you have to talk with the elders. This is why you go talk to David Bailey Eel. He's on Facebook. He'll tell you some shit about Noble Drew Ali and Moorish movement and stuff that was going around that time that turn your brain to water, like Noble Drew Ali said would happen if he told you everything. And you just have the water, the pool sound. Right? And it's not it's to really get people, it's really to get people hyped to recognize, right, what they got, what these dirty boys did, and to take it and slap these clowns with what Noble Drew Ali brought that they made you abandon because they got you thinking that Moor Science Temple is some sect of Moors, sect of black guys that wear fezzes, that have cards that say that they're Moors to distinguish them from the other guys with cards. Yeah, right. It's far from that. Man said he had manufacturing companies. What's that have to do with some card for some building? Right? Oh yeah. Just to bring up the point, because the melanin. Tuberculosis. So they say that he died of some sickness or something like that. They got the death certificate. Okay, well, Noble Drew Ali had a manufacturing company that made his own personal, shaman concoctions that he said that you take my stuff, it'll cure you of anything you're not born with. So if he's gonna make that, how the hell is he dying from some sickness or something like that if he's gonna make something and have a manufacturing company and have testimonials of people saying, "Oh, my back hurt me for 50 years. I took your stuff and." Oh, don't forget, that's not a European paper, right? That's not in the, Islamic guys' paper. That's not in the NAACP paper or the Negro World Marcus Garvey paper, you know what I mean? That's in the Moorish paper. And these people made people throw away their own birthright, causing confusion. Made people throw away their birthright. Okay, you're a good example, right? When it clicked that, hold on a second, Robbie is a rabbi, right? when it clicked, hold on a second. That means that, okay, I studying and stuff like that, checking stuff out, researching things, you know what I mean? Putting pieces of stuff together, and then you drop that, change name and all that stuff on Facebook, all the, new email and all that stuff. Don't address me by that name no more, and now you're a crazy guy. Because you joined some sect or some whatever, and why are you gonna join a sect? What's that thing that you're wearing? Why are you talking like that now? Why is it? All because Dirty Morris have them thinking like that. Because Dirty Morris had all these Christian guys fund their stuff. Black stuff, fund that, support that. You know why? Oh, out of unity for black suffering and whatever like that. What the hell are you guys talking about? You guys came up in the temple that you're not Negro, black, colored. And then you're going to turn around and then tell people that we're black Asiatics and, you know what I mean? We're black people, the black people need this and the black people need that. Make people throw away their own birthright. That's why I don't really blame them, really. The Dirty More there, just like the democracy guys. They're just doing their thing because the people are stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Right? Yeah. Like, really, people are stupid, so I'm going to rape your pockets. Like, simple as that. Yeah, I got birthrights over here. Yeah, oh, yeah, well, what do you guys deal with? Well, yeah, you know what I mean? Right? Everybody's like, oh, shit, this guy must have something over there. You really got birthrights? Yeah, with our birthrights, what we do with this birthright over here? You be a member, actually. They become a member for 500, 800, 1,000. They become a member of something and get nothing. Money, 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 money. Always, every day. That's all they're about. And people let it happen to them. Why? Because nobody really said think. People think. People think. And then that goes into, nobody really said again, I come to free you of mental slavery that you have now. So the mental slavery from 1913 that he was under, that he came out of, you know what I mean? That he came and told people and they were like, oh yeah, makes sense. And they gravitated to that, whatever, and they freed themselves from mental slavery. They never had HD TV, MP3 player, radio playing the same song 1,800 million times a day. Internet, commercials on Ustream, people try to get knowledge. Every second there's a commercial popping up or something. Right? They never had all that to deal with. So their brainwash release, their exorcism of the evil demonic spirits that were holding them was easy. Now, what type of stuff is clamping people right now? Like, what type of, like, okay, for like a sister today sent me a text message, right? And it's her yard, and then between her yard and like the house, there's this wall of, there's some white thing there. I wonder if I, because it's like there's so much stuff going on right now that people are experiencing daily. You know what I mean? Like people are, people are going through so many things right now that are, these things they're going through are like shifting them, seeing stuff, you know what I mean? You look outside the window and you see something that just gives you a wobble effect or whatever, right? So this is the thing right here. What the hell is that? Just hold that. Just look at that wall thing right there. The Moorish movement was targeted for disillusion or disruption by many of the jealous, opposing, and deviant Europeans monopolizing the United States government by infiltrators and also by many peripheral and complaining church leaders and preachers. The movement was also unfairly slandered and set up upon by others holding positions of power in the country. So this is going into, why they have the FBI papers and, whatever, and why when you read Hakeem Bey's book on Noble Juali, right? And he's talking about even the Islamic people during the time of Noble Drew Ali that had mosques and stuff, going to the head mosque to go complain about this guy talking about he's pushing Islam in America, and he doesn't deal with the Quran, and he doesn't deal with Muhammad, and what he's saying that he's the prophet, and
they didn't understand.
Yo, trying to take this man's head off, telling them trying to get fatwas on him and stuff like that to get him out of the way. That's just the Muslim guys.
Yeah, that's just those guys.
Imagine what everybody else was doing to try to get. We're not talking about dirty Moors now. This is outside of the temple now. So let's leave dirty Moors alone. Put dirty Moors over here in a little garbage bag. You dirty Moors over there. Now we're talking about Europeans, right? Who were Europeans who were usurping and eschewing the Moorish Empire to found their little U.S. democracy, whatever, right? All the black Christian, whoever guys, right? All of those guys, all of them across the board. If they're a so-called black man and they say that they're for Jesus Christ as their savior and Bible and all that stuff, okay, all of them were against Noble Drew Ali, right? The black organization people, so the NAACPs and the black coalition of the this and the black marching stuff and picketing stuff and all that, all those guys, the Negro, right, capitalize the N and all that stuff, all those guys complaining to their slave masters that this guy's messing up the money because everybody's leaving our stuff to go join his stuff. Because remember, he came to free the people of mental slavery. He came to make people start thinking for themselves and stop thinking like Europeans. Because you're not European, why are you thinking like him? It's nothing racist or nothing like that. Think like yourself. Nothing wrong with thinking like yourself. Chinese man thinks like himself. Japanese thinks like himself. Australian thinks like himself. We're talking about that time. We're not talking about today when we look at Australia and they're talking about what's their Australian culture and stuff like that. They made the rock. That's our ancestral whatever, some tourists whatever. We're not talking about the ones now. We're talking about Noble Drew Ali's time, right? Everybody was square in who they were as far as other nations. And remember, if he was demonstrating and setting patterns for communications with American national states, why wouldn't he be doing that for international states too? Why wouldn't international people be supporting him? I mean, the Sultan's in the Holy Quran. So the Sultan's in the Holy Quran, then, obviously international people supported the Prophet, right? So these are all the ones that outside the temple that were against people getting their birthright because they want to check. Against people getting their birthright because they want to, pose for the camera. Stop people from getting birthright so they can, be at assassinations and, put blood on themselves and do the interview. So they get some popularity, Because what has this become? What has it become? It's become, uplifting your people's occupation. Oh yeah, this is my job. This is what I do. 15,000 a lecture, and I'll come present my findings of the whatever. 15,000 for real? 7,000, 8,000 lecture. That's some information that's been there that you just found. Not your stuff. You just found some stuff. 8,000 for a lecture, and I know I got those. I talked to certain people in the conscious community, people nameless, right? The so-called scholars and all that stuff, to do lectures, and we got some charges about 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. So-called people who are saying, brother and, right? This is for the community and the mothers and the children, right? The
mothers ain't got $8,000.
They set up their table, sell all their books off, sell all their DVDs off, and not donate nothing to the people who brought you here. and then say brotherhood and whatever like that. Slick. Those ones, the ice, the black ice, black ice slick, make you crash your car to pole. Dime piece of ice. Dime piece of ice, huh? That's how slick they are. Crash your car. They're slick. Don't worry. That's their slickness. Right? That's their slickness. Right? In a short period of time, Moorish temples of science were springing up in almost every state in the nation, gaining influence and power among people of all walks of life. Calvin Coolidge, a European, was president of the United States at that period of time, serving a term from 1923 to 1929, when Herbert Hoover, a European, succeeded Calvin Coolidge and served from 1929 to 1933. The records also show that people, mainly Moors, learning that they were not Negro, black, colored folks, and living in the depressed communities, were leaving the churches in large numbers. The inspired state of mind of the common people began to change positively toward realizing thoughts of self-authority and of birthrights. Right? So, you can't have that. Right? The inspired state of mind of the common people began to change positively toward realizing thoughts of self-authority and of birthrights. That's for all those Moors who's fighting Pilar El Bey right now. You know, she's not a Moor. She's not a member of no temple. She can't talk like that. Oh no, she recognizes self-authority. Shut the hell up and assist, right, to make sure that her word gets out. Because if her word gets out, because, you know, she's of the state of mind of the common people, recognize and realizing thoughts of self-authority of birthrights, she's not doing what she's doing for herself. She's not doing anything that she's doing for my individual, personal, whatever. Right? Because why? Because when you recognize self-authority, you recognize that you're part of a nation if you have self-authority, especially if you're in your own land. And we've been had self-authority here. Right? Noble Drew Ali reintroduced. Noble Drew Ali resurrected. Noble Drew Ali reinstated. Noble Drew Ali brought back to the front. Noble Drew Ali reawakened this concept of birthrights to Negro, black, colored people. So they can take some self-authority and start handling their own affairs. Build your own schools, have your own manufacturing companies, have your own treasury, so you don't have to go to a bank from some European using fiat or whatever. You know, imagine how much funds would have been in the treasury now. They said millions back then was in there from people's dues and all that. Finance that the manufacturing company was bringing in. Because remember, nothing's not going to no individual. Everything that comes in is going to the nation. Because everything was a part of this governmental structure of the Moorish nation. The Moorish Science Temple was a governmental structure of the Moorish nation. It's not just sitting by as the authority. Yeah, we're the authority, Moorish Science Temple. Please, if you were the authority, you wouldn't be the one that needs a charter. You would be the one giving the charter if you're the authority. And we already know the only authority is the nation. That's why the back of the 101 says, our authority. Not Noble Drew Ali's authority, not the grand chiefs and the grand governors and the whatever authority, our authority. When we say our, we're talking about nation. Talking about a collective. Honorable sheiks and sheikesses. Many oral statements and words coming down from loyal, honorable, and dedicated sheiks and sheikesses and members of the temples were written down to preserve a positive consciousness for the Moors. These acts preserved many correctly established directives for the natural people. Such distinguished acts of loyalty were carried out in spite of the ghoulish odds mounted against them, against the members, and against the prophet. So even back then, with all the dirt going on, even back then, with all this dirt going on, right? These honorable Moors still stuck up for the prophet. Still stuck up for the prophet. Right? Mm-hmm. It's amazing when we consider. It's amazing when we consider, you know, how many people back the prophet. So I'm gonna touch on something quick fast because somebody had a question in the chat. I was trying to find this thing. All right. So when I came into knowledge myself of who I am, more science and all that stuff, you know what I mean? We were in the Rastafarian and black stuff and all, we were all the schools of thought, right? So what I said, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll come out with a book, right? Nationality, the Order of the Day, The Divine Message and Warning, all Garveyites, Rastafarians, black nationalists, and Pan-Africans. And nobody, none of them guys in the group or whatever bought the book. Mm-hmm. Book's been out since we came back from Chicago. Okay. It was the first book I wrote, right? First book I wrote, 2008 copyright. Okay. Let's put that on there just to show that people don't support shit up here. That's for their birthright because they're too busy listening to dirty morons, right? Somebody dropped. So is Drew Ali the King of Kings? Because certain people like say, you know, Haile Selassie is the King of Kings, opener of the 7 seals or whatever. Okay, let's just see what Kudrow had to write about that. Because, you know, I'm the crazy guy. Now, when we go into this, remember, you know, we don't push any. This is just to show people what they miss because they're not on more science. If they're on everything else, then they miss stuff. Stuff that's over their head every day, all day, over their head, over their head, over their head. You got on more science, then stuff is hitting you in the pineal gland now. Yeah. Nothing's not going over your head anymore. Stuff starts hitting you in your pineal gland every day, all day. You're getting hit in the pineal gland just because you're thinking. And it's just like, oh, that's why. Oh, that's why. That's why. Right? So, Messiah, okay, we'll start over here. Because, you know, Islam to Brother Rami Salam El, who slapped up polite for talking crap about, you know, Marcus Garvey didn't know Noble Drew Ali and crap like that. And he put stuff on the record. Put some more stuff on the record for these jokers who want to say that, you know, there's no relation and all this stuff, right? The Negro is crying out for a Muhammad, a prophet who will bring him the Quran of economic and intelligent welfare. Marcus Garvey. Right? Noble Drew Ali brought the Quran for the one. Right? K-O-R-A-N.
Yeah, but that's
not no Q. Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey didn't say to bring the Q, U-R-A-N, right? He said the K-O-R-A-N. Oh, what do we call ours? K-O-R-A-N. Oh, okay. Just so people think, you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Why would he
reference Quran, K-O-R-A-N, and not Q-U-R-A-N, or put both? Because he was talking about Noble Drew Ali. He was talking about Noble Drew Ali for all the fake-ass Garveyites that don't want to get down with the program. playing around with the prophet, don't want to honor him, you know, we're some, you know, put this on the record too. Since we're, you know, talking about Marcus Garvey, you might have noticed that the 100-year Marcus Garvey celebration that we had on our channel, you know, we had to take that down. Because the people who ran that tried to say that, you know, Kudrow's a backstabber and he's against his people because he taped our stuff and he put it up on his channel as Canaanland Moors presents something. Sent a long email to all these freaking people, you know what I mean? You know, blasting me about, you know, now the story, really what went down is those Garveyites didn't have no camera. I had my personal camera there to tape our stuff, building with the Moors. I said, nah, you know, Brotherhood, Unity or whatever, I'll tape your event, no problem. Set up my camera, you know what I mean? Tape the event, right? After the event, you know, thanks or whatever, I'm gonna put this on YouTube, you know, you guys got, you know, just let me know, anything I record, I put it on YouTube. Oh yeah, no problem, put it up, you know what I mean? It's the 100-year celebration, Marcus Garvey, what, okay, yeah. We're on the phone that night till 2 o'clock in the morning while I'm editing the video that I'm gonna put on YouTube. What should I cut out?
Yeah,
you know, fix this part.
The
Talking about the editing with the guy.
Right now.
Garveyite, huh? Say that they're Moors and all that stuff. Okay? So, sends out this email. But I'm stealing their stuff. So, you know, what would a European do in this sense? You're not gonna get mad. You're not gonna, you know, hate nothing. Just nicely reply with a bill that they better pay. But we're gonna be up in small claims court for my fiat. For recording your stuff. You know, since you hired me to tape your stuff, and you're on the phone when I was editing, you know, time is money around here. So they got billed, and we'll see if they pay their bill. We even give them a month to pay. You know, I don't know right away or whatever. You know, you got till the end of October. Let's see how you guys hold up on your bargain. You know, since, you know, because, you know, if Brotherhood ain't working, because, you know, I take it out of Brotherhood, put it on Unity, put it on YouTube out of Brotherhood, and then I get bashed. So, all right, cool.
You didn't pay me. I did it for free. We put it out there.
You got a problem? Okay, fine. Bill me, and I give you your stuff,
your property back.
And you can do whatever you want with it.
Once you pay?
Until you pay, it's my stuff. And, you know, small claims court, to me, is that DVD or whatever, send it off the balcony. And you could, to hell with your 100-year Garvey celebration, you know, put Kudrow on there in the end, you know, let him say a little something about Noble Drew Ali and the relation. You know what I mean? For you guys to show some unity, but they got a lawyer up there talking for an hour. They got freaking black guy go up there, talk for an hour, right? Jokers. So with regard to the 7 seals, Marcus Garvey prophesied the coming of Noble Drew Ali and was recognized by Noble Drew Ali as his forerunner. The Messiah said, "There shall be no solution to this race problem until you yourself strike the blow for liberty." So liberty is constitutional talk. From Marcus Garvey. Why is he talking constitutional? Oh, because he was down with Noble Drew Ali. But nah, they don't want to go with that. They want to talk Pan-African crap. Black African BS. They're not done. Was Haile Selassie the opener or revealer of the 7 seals? Revelations 5:2-5. And you know we don't quote Bible and stuff like that. Forget King James. We don't do the homo and all that stuff like that. And then talk about religion. Get the hell out of here. Right? Revelation 5:2-5, but we're just going to show people because this is what they use, you know, the Rastas and them guys, you know, to justify their Haile Selassie crap. Right? That he's some authority or God or some crap like that, when he's just emperor or sovereign, you know, of Abyssinia. He's just sovereign. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming a loud voice, "Who is worthy to open the book and loose the seals thereof?" And no man in heaven or earth was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, "Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and loose the seven seals thereof." The book of the seven seals is the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America is held to be a collection of knowledge kept secret by the Muslims of the East, now brought back to light by the Prophet. The Circle 7 Quran is also called to the Masons of the world a Korean Gospel of Jesus Christ. Right? So, Noble Juali is the opener of the seven seals, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquered Lion of the tribe of Judah. Honors to the noble prophet. Honors to the noble prophet. Because he came, brought the Moors everything it takes to save a nation, and they don't want to take it and save themselves. They didn't want to take it and save themselves. And listen to these bastards. We get some more Dirty Moors on the record again. Once again, if you want the Dirty Moor book by Malachi York, who is Noble Juali bashing the prophet or whatever, but then he's going to go around telling people that they're Moors and have a Quran that says, you know what I mean, his picture in the front before Noble Juali and all this type of stuff, you know what I mean? Jokers. Matter of fact, you know, just send an email, Canaanland Moors Guide. Just send an email, Canaanland Moors Guide, and we'll send this to you. You can read it yourself, because you don't want to read no crap about Dirty Moors. Forget them jokers. Now, events leading to the death of the prophet. Just to show you how these bastards want to play with your birthright. And it's not even, you know, you're not going to get mad. You need to get mad, get wise. Recognize that you are a prophet. Recognize that he came and brought you everything that it takes to save the nation and told you, take it and save yourself. No, you're not going to do that because, you know, this Moor said, and this Moor said, and this Moor said that if I don't whatever, then I'm not a... And then this Moor said that if I don't join their whatever, then I can't be a Moor. Okay? Alright? If you're going to go with that what that guy said, not the prophet, who said, you know, you're Moorish American because you're descendant of Moroccans born in America, then the way your birthright then. Let's do a backup to just before Noble Juali just before Noble Juali passed form in 1929. And this is what led to the above debauchery. Noble Juali successfully headed the Moorish divine and national movement of the world under the Moorish Holy Temple of Science with thousands of members that went to close to 1 million or more by the time of the infiltration. So this is why they infiltrated. They didn't just infiltrate because, oh wow, you know, this individual is going to be a threat to the... No, he was already a threat. They were done about to lose everything that they have, pack it up, 3,000 miles, get on the boat, back to Europe. Or, you know, show allegiance to the Moors, proclaim their nationality.
Get down with the program.
Get down with the program.
Or
that's your option. He gained respect and support of various congressmen, such as Oscar the Priest, as Noble Juali was a true diplomat. And then we will stop there. There's some dirty Moors out there, right, saying that, you know, Noble Juali backed a black man, Oscar the Priest. Why are we talking bad about W.E. Du Bois, who was another black man? No, W. Du Bois was a sellout nigger because W. Du Bois was against the prophet. Because W. Du Bois was against Marcus Garvey. Go check the record, his own record, and he'll tell you that Marcus Garvey's a monkey and stuff like that. Send that nigger back to wherever he came from because he's not even of the right mindset to do anything to help these people as far as, liberation or whatever is concerned. Go check. That's what he said about Marcus Garvey. So W. Du Bois gets and Oscar the Priest gets praise and honors because, like I told those dirty Moors that wants to talk crap about Oscar the Priest, right, being a black guy, when he was a member of the Moorish Science Temple, you go check the records. We told y'all, David Bailey Ill, that's the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. His Rolodex, right?
Heavy. Too heavy.
80-something years old, he got a Rolodex. He give you some numbers to some people you thought were dead.
Yeah.
He give you some numbers to some people's uncles, whatever, that, are in that convention picture. For real. If you want to talk about records and history of Moorish Science Temple, okay, go talk to the source. David Bailey Ill, he's on Facebook. And don't worry if he takes long to get back to you. He doesn't run the Facebook because he's 80-something years old, right? But somebody runs it and they return messages, whatever. So go add him, get familiar with him because he knows the history of the Moorish Science Temple more than any of these bastards out here. That's not going to tell you what the history is. They're going to try to keep stuff, over here, you know what I mean? And, when you're ready, we'll give you a little bit there, and then we'll give you a little bit more. And because once they start playing that game, you already know that they're on the dirty side. Because why you not just put it all up? Just like David Bailey is doing. You just have a conversation with him. He'll tell you everything. He'll be on the phone for hours, dribbling. Right? Because there's so much information that people don't know about, like when it talks about, successfully headed the, people don't know how successful this thing was from 1913 to 1929. How successful this was. That, 2013 come out, you just hearing about this. And this thing had over 1 million members in 1929. And you just hearing about this right now.
In 15, 16 years.
From 13 to 29. Gathered up millions of members. No YouTube, no nothing. No radio, no cell phone, texting, mass emailing, click whatever, boost your views, you know what I mean, or whatever like that. None of that. Millions of people back then. Telegram, that's it. That's all you got. And going around the place. You know what I mean? Like actually going around. Physically going around. Like setting up, going somewhere, set up a temple. Right? Okay, so he has a base in Chicago, right? Okay, so he goes to Detroit, set up a temple there. Come back to Chicago, right? Go to Pittsburgh or whatever. Come back, set up a temple. Go here, and that's only the documented places. Because all it says is that, there were. This amount of temples, this amount of branch temples. It doesn't say where they are. Right? And then his temple was like, thousands in his temple. Okay? So the level of the height of the membership, the membership was at its capacity. Go get Peter Moon's book. Montauk Book of the Dead. He'll tell you. European, once again, not Moorish telling you. A few Moors, got a few Moors out there put out some historical stuff about the temple. Not the, Holy Quran, Divine Constitution, no. The history of the temple. What the hell was going on? More, Quran, all that stuff was late. There was stuff going on from 1913 in regard to the temple. Quran ain't nothing, something. Hey, nothing. They got history that we don't even know about. And we need to know about. ASAP. Because it's going to assist in us taking this thing more serious. And not, bad talking it out of ignorance. you know, for what this really is. And again, you know, we're talking about manufacturing companies and things like that. So we're not talking about some idol worshiping, some freaking sage, you know, put on the carpet and all that stuff for people. Right? That's not what. Right? Um, okay. Now, questions. So you already know how it goes. If you got any in the chat too, you know, have some order, you know, number the questions or something like that. You know, hit up some questions fast. So we're just gonna check the email and get some questions going on before we end up. So first question, I'm Moroccan national. Islam Wars, I'm writing to you in regard to recently posted Saw Netter upload, and I need to ask the question, what of Saw Netter is he himself COINTELPRO? The reason for the accusation is his upload interview with a brother named Professor James Small, who claims the word Moor is merely a European corruption of the word black, or Moor means black, and that the real Moors are in Tamari. I notice that they often use men with some type of title as to confuse people on who people truly are, Islam and peace. Right? So now we already know that as far as Saw Netter is concerned, he's not going in the direction 100% Moors and all that. Why? Because you know his hands touches many people's hands, and you know you can't play bias because of the history. You know, because he's been giving everybody a platform. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, again, because of the confusion in the temple, if he starts saying Moors and he starts going in that direction, even though he's teaching his children all that, and they got etymology dictionaries at their home, and he has a Moroccan flag at his house and all that stuff, even though all that, you know, people are still gonna hop, skip, jump around Moors. So, as far as Saw Netter is concerned, you know, I can't knock it, right? He's just doing his job as, uh, you know, a journalist, a reporter. You know what I'm saying? He's just doing his thing as a reporter, right? Okay. Well, I got that text too. Yeah. 34. Okay. Yeah, I got that. Yeah. Right. So, you know, I never seen him take down, you know, the Cujo beat up Ali Muhammad and stuff like that. You know, it's still up there. So I can't say he's against Moors because, you know, brother, I mean, he's going to give everybody a time to talk. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, at the same time, you got knowledge, you know, you got to impart it to the ignorant, you know, for their betterment. You know, you're going to let them stay ignorant, keep pushing this thing about more means black. Because if more means black, then black people could call themselves Moors then. What's the fight? If more means black, then people who say that they're black,
should have no problem.
You should have no problem whatsoever. Forget Noble Drew Ali and forget Moorish Science Temple, whatever. More means black, cool. Black people should automatically, without even questioning anything about why Moors, fezzes, and whatever like that, Masons and whatever, just call yourself Moors, because Moor means black.
That's like black, Negro.
Just black, Negro, colored, African American, whatever. You know, you call yourself all that, right? Why not call yourself? If more basically just means black, then black people should call themselves Moors, if that's what it is. Ask James Small for brother Al Moroccan National, right? Go ask James Small if he's a Moor then. If you say Moor means black, are you a Moor?
Because you're gonna say he's probably gonna call himself a black guy, black man, whatever.
Black man, whatever. African.
And if it's just a synonym, it's just means the same thing.
Then you know you should have no problem calling yourself Moor. But see now there's a problem though. If Moor means black, and a black man says, I'm a Moor, you have to prove that. Because Moor is a nationality. That's like saying, Chinese means yellow. The European said Chinese means yellow.
So now Chinese
Right? And then, you know, we go ask the Chinese, you know, hey, China man, Chinese mean yellow. No, right? He's like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't even speak English. Right? Right? Okay? But they're not gonna go there. Because as soon as they say I'm a Moor, now you gotta prove it now. You don't have to prove that you're black.
That's the thing.
Right?
That's the trick.
The trick is you don't have to prove that you're black.
I guess
You
somebody
do not
else-
have to prove that you're black. Yo, snap, I gotta get this picture off. Right? You don't have to prove that you're black. But you have to prove that you're a Moor. You don't have to prove that you're Negro. That's a fiction. You know, you don't have to prove that the, you know, fake plant's real. You know what I mean? We don't have to have the freaking debate. You know, is this plant real or fake? Let's check the other. You know, call in the specialist of the plant guy to see. You don't need to do it because you're full of shit. Shut the hell up, right? You're full of shit. Black cannot mean Moor, and Moor cannot mean black because they're two different distinctions of statuses. Let's just put that on the record, right? Two different, totally different, absolutely different statuses. Two different statuses of two different jurisdictions. Because if I ask somebody, you know, who speaks Arabic what Moor means, they're not going to say Moor means black. And if I ask somebody, you know, French what Moor means, they're not going to say black. If I ask somebody German what Moor means, they're not going to say black. Matter of fact, if I ask somebody German what Moor means, they're going to say Moor, Moren, Morie, Moor, all these different Moor whatever, that's going to identify all these different things. And none of them being black. Okay? So, you know, Moors have to have that eye to recognize when somebody's trying to game you out of your stuff. Out of your own stuff. Simple as that. Because you know, I bet you if you go check that video, I bet that video has, you know, some thousands of views or whatever. So now there's thousands of people out there who have this mindset because, you know, this professor James Small said that Moor means black. Oh, you know what? Matter of fact, how come when people ask that question, nobody pulls out a goddamn dictionary and looks it up on the freaking stuff to see what Moor means? So let's do that. Just so we can see if Moor means black, you know, since this is the white man's dictionary, right? And then you're saying that the white man's the one that said, okay, so let's see what Moor means to the white man. This is his dictionary. So he would know, you know, since, right? So white man's dictionary, Moor, noun, Middle English, Moor, M-O-R, from Old English, M-O with a line above it, R, akin to Old High German, Mary, M-E-R-I. Hold on a second. But he did say that Moors come from Tamari. Okay, so Moors come. Now remember, that guy's a professor. Okay, so Moor comes from Tamari. But the white man's dictionary says Moor comes from Old High German Mary, which is part of the word Tamari. Because Tamari is a compound word, ta, and then Mary. It's not Tamari. It's ta, Mary. So ta means something, and then Mary means more. So that means Tamari is a place where Moors used to be. That's why he can make that statement. But the word Mary is in the definite. So Moor comes from Mary. Mary doesn't mean black. Oh, so more can't mean black if it comes from Old High German Mary, which means something. Scholar though, right? 1. Chiefly, an expanse of open, rolling, infertile land, a boggy area of wasteland, peaty, and dominated by grasses and sedges. That's the first more. So more don't mean black, more means area of wasted land.
Yeah.
Open, rolling, infertile land. How come you never brought up that part? The more means that. Right? Let's hit this out. Let me get this freaking plug. It's right down there.
More. To make fast with cables, lines, or anchors. To secure a boat by mooring. Anchor. To be made fast. Marin, tie. Good.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so that's the second mooring. So more means to make fast with cable, lines, or anchors. Okay, so make fast with cables isn't nothing to do with black. Lines is nothing to do with black. Anchors is nothing to do with black. To secure a boat by mooring. Anchor, to be made fast. Moor, M-U-E-R. Noun, Middle English, M-O-R-E, from Middle French, M-A-U-R-U-S. One of the mixed Arab Berber conquerors of Spain in the 8th century, and mixed Arab and Berber conquerors of Spain, one of them in the 8th century AD. B. Berber. 2. A Muslim. Moorish. Adjective. So, Moor, M-U-E-R, noun, M-E-M-O-R-E, from Middle French, moros, from Latin moros, 1A, one of the mixed Arab and Berber conquerors of Spain, Islam. Peace, Mark. Give me 1 second. More mixed Arab and Berber conquerors of Spain in the 8th century AD. Berber, Muslim, Moorish. ISH adjective. So more, period, ish, Moorish. So for the professor, I don't know where he got his degree at, but to say that more means black is a fraud, it's a fiction. And anybody pushing that more means black, they need to get their professor or whatever revoked. Because they're not teaching the people.
That's the Euro dictionary.
And
right?
this is the European,
That's his book.
That's his book. This is his stuff. This is the stuff that he said that more means black in. But when we check it, more doesn't mean black in this. So where is he getting this stuff from that more means black? So when you see them challenge those guys about where they getting this stuff from that more means black. So to close out the show, we're just gonna have a little input on the Prophet Noble Drew Ali from one of the most active Moors out there. You know what I mean? Always constantly working for the Prophet, putting the word out to let people know about nationality and birthrights. As well, this is one of the Moors that we give high honors to and hold highly. And any Moors talking crap about this Moor right here, we got something for you, because we already know how it goes when Moors start talking about Noble Drew Ali in the right perspective. So I'm gonna shut up. Islam Moor. The floor is yours. If you could just introduce yourself and give us a perspective that we should look at our noble prophet Drew Ali. Islam.
Islam. So the Nature El Bey out of Asbury Park, New Jersey territory, the Jersey State Republic. Joining in, share a little info on Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Start off by giving thanks to Canaanland Moors for continuing the works of Prophet Noble Ali, just giving a quick background on the Prophet Noble Ali and how I view him. But outside of him being a prophet, he was a leader. And I want to focus on that point tonight other than the prophet, because some people might not be versed and understand what the word prophet represents. I want to focus on him as being our affectionate leader. He made a statement that he was our affectionate leader, and he will continue to labor for us night and day, both in public and in private. And we have to examine that. And what is he really doing? Being that he established not just the Moorish Temple of America, but also he reestablished the Moorish American nation, or the Moorish nation here in North America, in this portion of North America, which was something that was taken away from us in 1774. So by him reestablishing this nation, the nation represents a body politic, a drill society, community, a government, EPC. And this is important because we all speak about proclaiming our nationality, and we all want to proclaim to a nationality. But what we have to understand is once we say the word nationality, nationality pertains to a nation. And when we say we have a nationality, we're saying we're a part of a drill society. And a drill society has national standards, it has leadership, it has protocols, it has a constitution, etc. So just by proclaiming a nationality, we're saying all of these things within that same breath. And that's very important because we have corresponding duties when it comes along to what a nation actually represents. So being that we're part of this government, or even to take it back a little bit further, being that the prophet actually reestablished a government for the Asiatics of North America, he couldn't just do that without having leadership and a protocol order in place. And this is what was so challenging for him at the time, because he started with a handful of people. And the proof of that is when he first tried to go and retrieve our flag, Moorish American flag, so they told him in a Catholic way that he wouldn't have 10 to follow him. So they denied him with his first request to try to retrieve the flag of a nation. So that's also very important to understand the challenging dilemmas and obstacles he had to go through just to reestablish the nation. It wasn't easy, as people might think, because you have a lot of people who on paper call themselves a nation and establish themselves different groups and organizations and refer to it as a nation, and even try to put a flag to that and say that this represents the nation, and they don't understand that there's certain things that have to be done to have that recognized lawfully and legally, nationally and internationally. And this is what the Prophet Noble Ali always made reference to about must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which you live, but also the nations of the earth. Because when you start speaking about the nations of the earth, that's the international arena. So one thing that Prophet Noble Ali did was when he established the nation, he served as the leader of the nation. And any national government across the planet Earth has national representation to go along with that nation. Some people refer to the nation as a country. Some refer to it as a community, EPC, tribe. There's many different names for drill society. Even on a lower level, state. State is also a drill society or body politic. But the main thing that people look at when you speak about nation, they look at the representation of that nation. And Prophet Noble Ali serves as our national representation for the Moorish American nation here in North America. And being that he fulfilled that seat, He was known and recognized as a leader, not just the prophet, but as a leader for this nation. And he was invited to Havana, Cuba, to speak on behalf of this nation. And that's a very good history piece for our people, especially our youth, because we don't know that, and we don't know exactly what took place at this Havana, Cuba conference that took place. And it was represented as the head of the nation, and not just a Moorish American nation, but by the end of the meeting, he was being recognized as the leader of the North American nation because of the claim that he produced that could not be challenged by the other people, indigenous tribes that were claiming to have indigenous representation over the so-called Cherokee nations at that time. They were known and recognized as the indigenous, aboriginal indigenous people of the land, and they had certain Indian chiefs that was recognized as the head chiefs of the Iroquois nations. So even within our Constitution of the United States, they have clauses in there that speaks about the Indians and giving them the reservations, certain tax exemptions, based on their indigenous status. Even though we know that that's a fraud because there are no Indians. And we are the true aboriginal indigenous people of the land, the Moors, but for certain reasons of denationalization, they're not going to mention us in the Constitution because it wasn't part of their plan. So the Prophet Noble Ali, when he went there, he produced these claims to show that we are the true aboriginal indigenous people of the land. And we are the true heirs. We have the birthright inheritance to this land. And those that were recognized as indigenous people could not produce a more valid claim than the Prophet of Ali. So because of that, the other national representatives of the different nations were forced to recognize Prophet Noble Ali's claim and recognize him and the nation that he introduced back into the family of nations. This is why he states in the Moorish literature, come link yourself with the families of nations. Because the link is by each and every one of us proclaiming our national birthright inheritance and living up to the national standards that it produces. And by with him being a leader at that time, he was able to produce these claims and set up the national standards of our ancient forefathers. And by reestablishing those creeds and those practices, those constitutional laws and mandates that was pre-existing here prior to Europeans actually coming here, we were able to be recognized for the ancient customs that we were known for. And this is part of the birthright inheritance. It gives us more of a ancient acceptance here in this land based on our forefathers' creed. And this is something that we have to look at, each and every one of us, when we proclaim our nationality. That the Prophet Noble Ali established these precepts for us to go according to. And even though he's not here in the flesh anymore, he left his footprints clearly cut. That even from a leader perspective, that one day we will regain the same leadership that the Prophet Noble Ali had to offer for us when we took the flesh. We will regain that same leadership today. And that's when we can really reap the benefits of what he did, is when we get the proper leadership here today.
Islam. Quick question, with regard to people who are coming into this information excited and willing to assist the movement, but then there's no temples in their area. What should those people do with regard to getting connected or finding the information?
Well, being that we have this technology these days, I mean, there's a lot of online references that can use to do that, and even with the physical temples out there, they have mailing correspondence that can be done. You can become a member no matter what state or what part of the world you're in. Just do online correspondence, online classes, online membership, like you all have there, what we have here. I tell Moors, regardless of what everybody else is doing, it's very acceptable to get this information out there. One, you can study on their own if they have no other means of studying with other people or other groups. Study over through all these lessons and get a clear understanding on what he intended for you to do. And being in that type of mindset or consciousness will automatically draw you to the group or the organization that's best for you. Like you see birds of a feather flock together. So there's many temples, many different organizations, many groups out here that speaking, similar information. One needs to get a foundation. They need to be grounded. And the best way to get grounded is not through a certain group, but really through studying the prophet's literature personally and getting an understanding of what he intended for a Moorish American to actually do. Once you do that, then you are automatically magnetized with the group or the temple or organization that's best doing the prophet's work.
So,
Don't go searching or looking for it. Just get a foundation of what you need to do, and then you'll be guided to that.
so if they bump into people that tell them things like, nah, you're not a Moor because you're not in the temple, that's a misrepresentation.
Yeah, it's a misrepresentation. Because we know that, because of what a Moor is, you're already a Moor. And everyone pretty much agrees with that. People don't teach it properly, and this is why people become misguided. They're talking from an organization or a membership perspective, being registered on a temple roster as being a Moorish American. That's something totally different. And even because of the fractions and people who deviated from the prophet's program nowadays, most people don't even have that right to even claim that. Because what they're really saying is that if you're not a part of this organization or this temple, then you're not an official Moor. And once people start talking like that, you already know that they have private agendas in play. But according to the prophet's literature, to really become a member of the nation, remember I said nation represents the government. To become a member of an official member of a government is through proclamation and oath and allegiance to that nation. And that's what the proclaiming of the nationality represents. And that should be done properly through a lawfully organized charter for Zion Temple of America. That's how the prophet set it up. Those were regions where that could be done at. No different from a state government has different state houses where they delegate certain activities to take place. When you will go down there, you file for a passport, you file for this, like DMVs, Division of Motor Vehicles, we call it out here. I'm not sure what we call it out there. But they have certain regencies where you can go to receive their corporate driver's license or registration or title for a vehicle. You only can go to those certain places. And that's how the prophet of God set up the nation or the organization, because he put leadership in different temple organizations, and through the leadership, people were delegated with the authority to co-sign or declare one's nationality, because one proclaiming their nationality is actually a self-declaration. That's something that they're doing. That's a personal affirmation out the individual's mouth. But the ones in charge for the governors and the grand chiefs of the temple are their witnesses. And what they're doing is affirming and confirming that one came before them and proclaimed his own nationality with the other witnesses of the members that's in the temple that particular day. So when an affidavit is created, the affidavit is something that's really said out the individual's mouth, and then the signatures and the seals that go at the bottom represent the witnesses of those in charge to even witness such legal act take place. So that's different from a self-declaration of one just standing up and saying, well, I'm Moorish American and I'm a registered member. And that's not the protocol for proclaiming the nationality. And that does not have to be recognized by other nations of the earth or other legal governments. They look for representation to bear witness and officially co-sign that certain acts have taken place according to law.
last question. If you can plug your whatever it is that you do. If you got site, Ustream or YouTube or something like that, so the people could get a hold of you.
Yes, absolutely. We do have a website, and our website is moorishguidepost.com. We also have a Ustream channel, and that just is NST online. That's the Moorish Science Temple online. That's NST online. And you can get that link through our website of moorishguidepost.com, or you can go directstream.com and then type in search NST online. It's a way to guide you to it. We have a lot of back classes and meetings and law classes that you can find on there, archive meetings.
All right, give thanks, bro. All right, give thanks. I just wanted to let you know that the Moors, we have about 19, 20 Moors online. They just want to say Islam and give thanks for sharing the information with them.
Islam, gratitude, thanks for listening, thanks for being a part of the uplifting program.
All right, more peace and love. We'll talk later.
All right, Islam.
And give thanks. Peace. All right, so there it is. All right, so now you got another reference now again that you can go to. You know what I mean? Get yourself square with what your prophet brought you, because there's not too many Moors that are going to tell you how it is. And the Moors that are going to tell you how it is, more than likely, you know, somebody else is saying that they're dirty, you know, and they're not doing stuff right how the prophet said it's supposed to be done. But, you know, I can show you those Moors too. Nature, Grand Chief Nature and those Moors, they got their stuff out there. Let's just put that on the record quick fast so people, you know, can see that they're following the program. So just go to the website and you can order your back issues of, you know, Moorish Guidepost, national newspaper, okay? Because Noble Ali told the Moors that the press is our weapon of choice. So Moors Islam, I know we went over today, you know what I mean? I'm cutting down your little break, but you know it goes. You know it goes. Moors go hard. So Islam to all the Moors, peace and love, Hotep. You know we have to close out with the prayer, as usual. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Islam. And for all the Moors in Canaanland, don't forget this Saturday, the 20th, we're going to be at Feed the Hungry, downtown Toronto. All right, fezzes and turbans up. We're going to be distributing clothes, food, whatever else that we could distribute to the homeless. Big up to Exodus Movements for continuing this great missionary work that he's doing, Brother Yafa Bey, because just so you know, Amor runs that Feed the Hungry campaign, not some black guy. You know, people get it twisted, think it's a black guy thing that's going on that we're supporting. No, it's Amor, you know what I mean? Just so you know. So Feed the Hungry, that's on Saturday, 5 p.m. You know, whatever you bring, you carry. So don't be bringing 50 bags of stuff to donate and then leave your 50 bags and go home or whatever. You're going to be lugging your 50 bags around that you're donating. And secondly, the 21st, big up to the sisters at torontonaturals.ca. They're doing their hair show, their ninth annual Toronto Naturals hair show. Natural hair and beauty show. Apologies, right? Natural hair and natural beauty show. So no Revlon, Maybelline, and all that. Natural stuff, makeup and hair stuff, and you know what I mean, for the sisters. You know, brothers with the locks. You know, we get our little lock socks from there. You know, if you see the lock socks, that's where we get them from. Um, the natural, the Toronto Natural Hair and Beauty Show, and that's on Sunday. Um, 11 a.m., 6 p.m. if I'm not mistaken, and it's at 6 Garamond Court, Japanese Canadian Cultural Center, and torontonaturals.ca if you want to support, you know what I mean, make a donation or something like that. Same thing, just Google Exodus Movements. You know, you'll see the big X on the website. That's how you know that it's Exodus Movements. If you want to donate, support in any way, you know what I'm saying, hit them up, you know, and support them. Islam to all the Moors, peace and love. We got a little bit of time before Blog Talk Radio, MHHS, eyes wide open. Islam, peace and hotep. And oh yeah, Islam to all the Moors online. Can't forget y'all for the support. You know what I mean? Questions, input, etc. So I'll see y'all in a little bit more. Islam.